Hi guys, it's Cal from Dirty Weasel. We're continuing our mod organizer for Fallout New Vegas series with number 5, User Interfaces. There's a lot to cover and it'll be broken into 2 parts. Let's get started with part 1 that will provide the foundation for the rest of our UI mods. We'll be covering 4 mods in this video: UIO, the User Interface Organizer, that helps to seamlessly run all the other UI mods we'll be using later on; Darnified UI, which streamlines the heads-up display and makes it more attractive; the Mod Configuration Menu, or MCM, the in-game menu system that allows you to adjust your mods on the fly; and finally we'll finish up with a mod that uses the MCM, JIP Companion Command and Control. So let's get right into it and head to the desktop. Alright, so let's get to work here. You know, back in the day when we were all modding Fallout New Vegas on Nexus Mod Manager, Gopher had a mod called Unified Hud Project that was a godsend, and it unified all of our heads-up displays and user interfaces. But it had some weirdness. You had to, each time you added a new one, you had to uninstall Unified Hud Project and then reinstall it, and then check a FOMO that you had it, and it was okay for its time, but times have changed, and even Gopher has endorsed the following mod, and that would be UIO, and we're going to go take a look at that. And it is the User Interface Organizer by Jazz is Paris, and you can see the mod number right there, 57174. And User Interface Organizer, or UIO, is a NVSE powered plugin that is designed to manage and maintain all UI HUD extensions added to the game by various mods. Okay. Once installed, UIO will ensure that UI extensions are always properly installed and, when necessary, properly removed. So it is the next generation of Hud Project, but it's UIO. And I think it works really well. If you want to see it in action, you know, you can see this video, but you know, it's not one of those mods that you can just plug in and see it in action right away. You gotta do some other things. But how it exactly works, I don't know. And it's kind of voodoo, and you can read this, and I don't quite understand it. But I'm not a computer guy. I'm sure, you know, it says it detects installed UI mods. You know, it operates at game launch before any UI files are loaded into memory. It detects installed UI mods, makes sure every valid UI extension is properly registered, removes references to missing files. Yeah, I'm a video maker and a tester. I don't know what all this means. How do you use it? Just simply download it and install it. Easy peasy. You know, using Mod Organizer in the past with UIO was slightly different and was having some issues, but now Mod Organizer is up to date and has a new installing tool. The legacy script installer, I was going to do a mod on that, or a video on that, but it's now integrated in there, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. So, you know, I think this is going to be really work well. In testing, it worked flawlessly, better than I could have hoped, and you'll see that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and, you know, if you had your mod organizer for Fallout New Vegas open, you would click this button right here and search the Nexus network for more mods. And you can just put in UIO. That's what I did. So, and under files, it's only one file to download, and you would download with Manager. And it says New Vegas Script Extender. Like we said, this is a NVSE plugin, so you make sure you have that. And I'm going to talk about that later on in the video, but for right now, that's enough. So we'll click the download. There we go. Let's go take a look at it here. And we go to our Downloads tab, and there's UIO right there. Okay. Double click. I want you to watch what Mod Organizer does. See this? This is that NCC Nexus Client CLI I mentioned, that legacy script extensions installer. When you see this, don't freak out. It's perfectly normal. I left it to run so you could actually see this in the video, to always ask, because I think it's important that you guys know about this. This is perfectly normal. The first time you see this, you may freak out and think that it's some type of security warning that you need to all be aware of. Don't worry about it. Matter of fact, I'm going to unclick it so it doesn't do it in the future, and I'm going to run it. running an external installer. That's what we just talked about. And there it is. Okay. So, like I said, there's not a whole lot to show you when you first run the game, because it's kind of working in the background. There's nothing for it to work with right now. All this stuff here doesn't have any user interface that needs to be organized by UIO. Okay? Don't worry about that just yet. We will go do that in the next step. Okay? I'm going to minimize this down, and I'm going to bring up Essarbee's site, Fear and Loathing in New Vegas, and we're going to go down and we're going to talk about user interface. Okay, I had a discussion with Essarrbee about these instructions, and he wants you to load these in a certain order, and I agree with that. But what I'm about to show you changes things a little bit. He wanted you to install Darnified UI, which we're going to do next. Okay. But by installing UIO first, you'll have a desired effect. So I want you to go ahead, and you can go ahead and get this by clicking on this button right here, and it will download Darnified UI into a 7-zip or WinRAR file onto your desktop or wherever you load these things. So basically, to install this mod with Mod Organizer, click Manual right here. Then OK. During the installation, or the default installer will skip a very important file. Alright, we'll show you that when we install it. Even though this mod never made it out of beta, it's complete enough to use for all interface text. Some other mods have expanded the Darnified font to other parts of the game. Okay, you can go and read this stuff. But further up here, and we'll go show you this, in the any tweaks, remember I showed you the any tweaks before for mouse acceleration and a few other things? Remember back in the old days, we had to, where's it at? There it is, Darnified UI font tweak. We used to have to copy all this down and put it into our any files. Okay. UIO is going to work a little voodoo for us. I'll go back, I'll just minimize this down. I'll open up my mod organizer and you can see it. I'm going to open up my any files. I'm going to show you this. And we just hit Control F and we'll look for fonts. Okay. Close this down. And you'll notice that my fonts section is perfectly vanilla. Okay. You go to falloutprefs.ini where you'd have to do the same thing again. And we'll hit Control F again. Fonts. Find next. Close it down. And you see, perfectly vanilla. Nothing neato going on here. Okay? So I haven't made any changes, and I want you to just keep that in mind. I've not changed my any files whatsoever to adjust for the fonts. And if you've ever seen Gopher's video on Darnified UI, you know why he did that and how, and you can see that video. I'll just go ahead and show you a screenshot of, kind of what it looks like for comparison's sake. I already kind of decreased the opacity and changed the color a little bit, but you get the idea. So, that's kind of what it looks like. So let's move on. So, installing Darnified UI, I've got it already on my desktop. I clicked that, link and got it. And it is Darnified UI NV New Vegas version 04.7Z. Okay. I want you to leave it in this 7Z WinRAR file because this is how Mod Organizer likes to package things up. Okay. So up here you have install from archive. It's not doing it right now. It's not showing it to me like this would. All right. Probably if I do that. How about that? And install a new mod from an archive. And that's what you're going to hit. You're going to hit that button. Okay. We know it's on my desktop, and there it is right there since I did a test run of it earlier. And you're going to open it. Remember in the instructions from Essarrbee it says manual. Okay. Click manual. It says all right. Yes. Okay. It looks good. Go ahead and install that. Just like that. Easy peasy, right? So, both of those are installed. They won't show up over here because we installed it from an archive. Okay. Check our plugins. That's fine. I don't see any problem with this. Obviously, it doesn't need to be moved above yup. UIO will not have an ESP because it's an NVSE plugin, right? That's why you don't see it on your plugins tab. Now, we are going to run 4 GB Fallout New Vegas. We're going to run it. We're going to launch the game. You see, we're going through Game Companion. Prepare for the voodoo. Alright, here we go. And the voodoo starts now. Okay? This looks very much different than it did in the vanilla game, doesn't it? You notice the quit is fully fleshed out. It's UIO voodoo. Just accept the voodoo. I try not to think about it too much. Let's go into my basic save and we'll take a look at this. Save our last save. Yeah, sure. That's the voodoo. It is super hard to see. We'll go about here. See, the font has been changed. The hit points and the action points are at the bottom there. Kind of see it? It's very small, but it's there. Okay? That is the proper font. That is the proper size. So it's very unobtrusive now. Okay? If you go into your Pip-Boy, fonts and everything's been changed. So, that, nice, huh? Perfect. Don't ask me how it does things. It just does it. Just accept it. I'm going to log out of this. There we go. So, that it's just voodoo. Just wanted to accept it. Okay. Now, one of the things about Unified Interface Organizer is that it will throw things into your overwrite file. Everyone assures me this is perfectly safe, and when you click on this, there are files in your overwrite. We'll go take a look at this, and it's perfectly safe. If you're in the middle of doing mod testing or installation, we try to keep our overwrites clear, but I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, you can see it's user interface organizer right there. It's these public files. There's not really much to see, really. Okay, it's just a file. Jazz's Paris assures me that it's fine. Essarrbee says it's fine. Okay, so you just go ahead and highlight, right click, and delete. You want to delete it? Sure. Close that down. All right. So when you get that, don't freak out. That's perfectly normal. So, there you go. UIO. I'm going to throw this over here since we already installed it in Mod Organizer. UIO, a little bit of voodoo, but it works, and it saved us quite a few steps when we installed Darnified UI. So that's perfect, guys. Let's move on to the next segment. Okay, now we're going to talk about the MCM, the Mod Configuration Menu. Basically, it's a menu inside of a menu, and it allows you to control mods from within your game without having to go back and change settings in Mod Organizer or in your any files or anything else like that. So it's pretty much the standard now. If you've been playing Fallout New Vegas for a long time, you have it. You know what it is. Let's go to the user interface, and I want to point out something on Essarbee's site. User interface. Remember we talked about this. We're changing the order in which things are kind of done. We did UIO, then we did Darnified UI, and we're going to go down, and we're actually going to do the MCM. And you can see it's pretty far down. I talked to Essarrbee about this and how it would affect Project Nevada, being that he suggested installing Project Nevada first and then MCM. He says it shouldn't be an issue. We're going to do this first. And it's done by Pellinor, and it is an NVSE required mod. Get the mod configuration menu main file and the Mcm Bug-Fix 2 update file. Okay. This mod will allow other mods to have advanced functionality by accessing the in-game menu for customizable settings. Project Nevada has its own version of this mod, so it should be installed before this mod. Like I said, Essarrbee doesn't think it's going to be a problem. Okay. When we get to Project Nevada in part 2 of our UI mods, we'll go over that. But for right now, it's going to be good. So let's go back up here. We'll just reset that to where we want it. Right there. And we'll be coming back to this section in just a second. All right. So we're going to minimize that down. Open up our Mod Organizer. And once again, go ahead and click this to go to the Nexus. I already have it open and ready to go. And it is Mod Configuration Menu, done by Pellinor. Also, he's the weapon mod menu guy, so he puts out good stuff. And basically it tells you the same thing over and over. This is a mod for which another mod uses to configure it. Okay? Alright. So these are a list of the mods that are using the MCM. Right? Some good stuff in here. So I would keep it around. You know, Project Nevada, we talked about that. Primary needs. Immersive HUD. All these things. Flashlight NBSE, which we'll be installing. Requirements, Fallout New Vegas, we got that. Microsoft C++ 2010 redistribution package. Get this, you probably already have it, but make sure you have it, the right one. It'll tell you if you don't. New Vegas Scripting Center, we talked about that. Fallout Mod Manager, Nexus Mod Manager. Don't worry about that. We're doing for Nexus, or for Mod Organizer, right? Compatibility, basically it's compatible with everything, right? So we will minimize that down. And whoops, I forgot to get the file. Hang on a second. Go to your files. And remember he said we're going to be downloading two things. Alright? So the mod configuration menu is a download with manager. We'll go ahead and click that, get that started. There we go. And it is downloaded and ready to go. Alright? Mcm Bug-Fix 2. Alright? This is not downloaded with manager. You have to download this manually. And it fixes the gray start menu issue. I didn't have it in my game, but you might. And it's, you know, a little safe thing to do. It overwrites the ESP. It doesn't add one. It just overwrites it to fix it. And you'll want to download that manually. Okay. It's going to download to my thing there. So first thing, let's go and get that out of our downloads. Mcm Bug-Fix. Boom. Set it right over there. And we'll go back to Mod Organizer. So you have Mod Configuration menu. There it is right there. Done. Double click to install. See, it's running the external installer again. So that's the legacy scripts. It really works well. It used to cause all sorts of problems. It doesn't anymore. And you hit install. There you go. Now this is activated and it's ready to go. And remember we put our Mcm Bug-Fix on the outside. You're going to need to do the same thing you did with DarnUI, and you're going to install a new mod from an archive. Okay. There's his Mcm Bug-Fix. Open. You don't want this. You want to have it be exactly the same because we're going to merge this into the mod configuration menu. So you need to type that out. The mod I forgot where I was. Configuration. Such a dork sometimes. Mod configuration menu. It's exactly the same as what this is. And you would click manual. And you see it looks good. Mod configuration menu ESP. Remember we said it's just going to override it. So you hit OK. And it says it's already installed. Yes, it is. And we want to merge it. Just like that. Don't replace it. Merge it. So now it already has the new ESP already built in there. So you would, not going to be able to see this when you do it, but information, ops, ESPs, mod configuration menu, ESP. Done. I mean, that's it. It's just one file. Nothing to worry about. Go to your plugins, mod configuration menu. It has no, enabled master, so it can kind of go there. It's fine. It'll run just fine. Now, this is another one of those mods. See, it's overriding DarnUI. Remember, they said it wants to recognize that DarnUI is there. So that's what we want, because basically it's going to convert the scripts or the fonts from DarnUI into the mod configuration menu. All right. So this is another one of those mods that, even if you have it, as it is right now, I don't have anything that needs it. If you were to go into the game, you're not going to find it. So it won't even activate until you have a mod that's compatible. Which brings us to our next mod. When we go to Essarbee's site, you can see a bunch of different stuff here. And let's just talk briefly about Advanced Recon. Gopher has redone all of his mods so they're no longer scripted installs. Alright, so I will probably be doing a special Advanced Recon portion where I show you how to install all these. But for right now, we're going to skip over that. Okay. And what we're going to go down is one of my favorite mods, and that is JIP, Jazz is Paris. Okay, companions, command, and control. All right, does a ton of companion stuff. It's so much that most people probably not even use half of its features. I didn't use hardly at all. I just used it for wait here, follow me now. That's it. Okay. Requirements, NBSE and UIO. You remember UIO? Let's just go down and look at it real fast. There's a UIO, Jazz is Paris. Okay. Same author, right? So he does all this JIP stuff. Great author. It requires UIO now. Okay, we have that. And NVSE. Now, in my NVSE installation guide, I put that, get the stable version, don't get the beta. And let's go up and look at what Jazz is Paris has to say about, companions, command, and control, right? And you come down, and it is here somewhere. Requirements, okay? New Vegas script extender, version 4.6b1. All right, that's the beta version. Let's just go to silverlock.org and I'll show you this. Open a new tab. That is the non-stable version. Evidently, it's stable enough to run. Okay, I made an annotation in my NVSE video to go ahead and use this. If it's stable enough for Jazz is Paris, it's stable enough for me. So make sure you install that, or this will not work. Okay, it'll tell you in game it doesn't work. It's no problem doing that. So let's go back up. Okay, this will tell you everything about it and how to use it, and it is a ton of stuff that, like Essarrbee says, you don't even use half of it. Let's go to the videos section real fast and go for the mod on a video on this. I would suggest go and view it if you just want to see what it does. These videos that I'm doing are not really focused on that. So, if you want to see what it does, there's other videos out there I can show you. But what we are going to be doing, just downloading this mod. JIP, Companions, Command, and Control, is one file. That's all it is. If you want to actually create an avatar, you can do that, but we're not going to. So you want to hit Download with Manager. And it'll tell you, once again, it needs the mod configuration menu, user interface organizer, we got that, and New Vegas script extender, the newest version, guys, 4.6.1b. Right. Continue with my download. There we go. So we'll minimize that down, open up our Nexus. Did it again. Mod organizer. Problem is I've been working with Stardust LP to get his game running. Keep talking about that. Go to your downloads. And there it is, JIP Companions, Command, and Control. Double click to install. Hit your manual. Always, I never do automatic. I always do manual. I want to see what we're doing here, and that's fine. Okay, looks good. That's installed. Now it had a foam mod in there, but I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. Now, that's all installed. So now we have UIO going. Darnified UI, mod configuration menu, and JIP companions, command, and control. All right. So there's 4 mods real quick like that. And we're going to run and go check this out. Hopefully it works. All right, here we go. All right, let's continue with our game. Yes. All right, we have a message. JIP command, companions, command, and control is now installed. Press and hold C to activate the command interface. The mod's control panel is accessible via the mod configuration menu. Hey, look at that. Tutorial mode is currently enabled. We can go through that later. But that's configured by MCM. Hit OK. All right. Now, there's not much to see. I don't have any companions to show you how this all works. But we will go ahead and hit escape. And we now have a mod configuration. There it is. JIP command and control. There it is. You can go ahead and set all your settings. Control, interface, optional. Perfect. It has all this stuff. Like I said, it's more than what you and I use most of the time. So we go back. but now we have a mod configuration button. Perfect. It works. We're going to exit this game, and we're back. See, like, once we said overwrite mod, okay, that's all right. We knew that was going to happen. That's what UIO does. It's just that thing. We can go to information. Now let's get 2. See, UIO also pumped out a menu because it has an MCM menu. Just control click, and you can delete both those mods. Delete both those files. No problem. Safe. Say goodbye. Now, if you are playing the game and it starts loading up in there, at some point you'll have to delete them all. But, you know, just playing the game, you don't need to worry about it too much. But I like when I'm doing testing and installing mods to keep this clear, because I want to be able to know when something else has been overwritten into the file. All right, just a general safety rule. There we go. Wow, we actually got some stuff done. UIO, Darnified UI, mod configuration menu, and JIP commands and control. That's perfect. We got 4 interface mods going. And in part 2, we'll continue on with this. We'll get Project Nevada going. We'll get the weapon mod menu up and running, and continue on with our user interface portion. So I hope you found this informative. I'm really glad to be moving forward with this and continuing the project. So this is Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.